recording signals does not come in. Check. Let me check that because usually, okay, so I checked the recording. Okay, so thanks for attending today's webinar. So today's webinar will be recorded and shared. I will share my screen again. Mhm. Okay, so before to transform to the full screen, I will briefly introduce today's topic and speaker. So today we are going to talk about AI native hybrid quantum in biomedical discovery and therapeutic innovation. So we have three sessions, and basically I'm going to read the main topic, and we have two guest speakers, Soham Thakur and Adam Gabriel. So I will give you the briefly about the schedule first. Okay, so I will give you some introductions. So what is mean by the AI-enabled hybrid quantum framework? And then Sohom will be share. He's an industry expert. He has 13 years in quantum space and then consulting in the large big pharma company and other type of company. So he will share his insight about his experience. And I'm going to talk about practical business case demo. So I have several demos, but actually I will show you a few. And then finally, practical solution live demo is Adam. And then if it's usually supposed to be end in 1 p.m., but actually we have a free topic. So if you it's optional. So if you can stay, then we can have about a 10-minute Q&A session. Okay. First, let me check that. Why it's not? It should be automatically. Okay. Okay. Slide share. So I will briefly discuss about what is mean by AI-enabled hybrid quantum framework. So what is mean by? So introduction. So I will share this presentation. So I will go over very essential keyword term, and then you can look at it detail later when I share this presentation slide. So what is meant by it is a several component is AI native intelligence. So AI serve as an orchestration layer that understand object, plans, workflows, allocate resources, and synthesize scientific result, and hybrid computing, and quantum integration, and unified orchestration. And why this framework needed? And biomedical complexity, right? It's very complex and depending on your subject matters. And the existing system remain fragmented. So we need to be unified scheme required. So how does framework work? So it should kind of like understand and orchestrate and execute. So it dynamically routed across AI system, GPU infrastructure, HPC clusters, optimization engines, and quantum resources. And then finally synthesize. And then introduce the practical implementation that I'm as a part of this endeavor. So a super platform is developed by the company name SuperQ Quantum Computing. So it's kind of like a practical implementation of this framework. So it is implement is AI orchestration intelligence as a default. And hybrid computing ecosystem, they're utilizing all existing computing resources and then operational outcomes. So it guides through the users to it's kind of like a SaaS platform. So it interacts with like a ChatGPT like interface. So it like a gateway to the quantum computing and then guide is like a ChatGPT version of the the gateway to the quantum computing. So it will be user-friendly, the chat-based interface and user interacts with platform, and then try to solve his problem. And today we're going to show some demo. So this is the architecture. You can see that it's a agentic AI, it's a multi-agent AI framework. And then it orchestrates all the computing resources and then analysis resources. And so its work is it understand the problem and then in the workflow orchestration and hybrid execution and synthesis. You will see through demo. And I develop, this is my development. I look at the capability and performance of this platform. And then I found that this kind of the so-called the business case so can be solved. So one is computational drug discovery and multimodal precision medicine and adaptive therapeutic intelligence, molecular simulation and protein engineering, and neurotechnology and brain-computer interfaces, and precision longevity and preventive health, and clinical research and trial optimization. So I develop all, and then I can show all the demos, but actually I will pick it up today. So, little bit snapshot. So, I recommend you read this one. Actually, each one I deep dive into a little bit more explanations. So, AI native hybrid quantum computing, computational drug discovery business case. So, it's kind of like a drug discovery, and then it orchestrate this workflow, and then it can do like, for example, faster therapeutic discovery, reduce R&D cost and improve the candidate quality and accelerate commercialization, something like that. So this is architecture and operational diagram to how they work in this business case application. And this is the second case is native quantum multimodal precision medicine. So you can think about like a genomics and oncology type, uh, the mixed with the biomarkers and many other things. So there's a complex healthcare situation, and it integrates multiple patient intelligence through the AI network orchestration. So it improved patient outcomes and enhanced the treatment selection, earlier risk identification, and increased precision medicine scalability. Something like that, right? So you can see that. You can also see that adaptive therapeutic intelligence is very, very related to like drug delivery is one of the adaptive drug delivery is one of the example. And also like biomolecular simulation, protein engineering is another one very hot topic in the biotechnology. And also you can think about neuro computational intelligence, brain computer interface. It was like neurological, physiological kind of the research you did. You know about the Elon Musk, the one of the venture, the focus on this area. And also, for example, precision longevity. So longevity is another layer that it can apply. And then finally, is a very, very critical area is a clinical research orchestra and trial optimization. Okay, so before I move into demo details, so we have a guest speaker section. So Sohom, can you share your insight about your prepare? Because as I told you, he's 13 years in quantum space, so he's a really expert in this space. And then he will share through his 13 years experience with working with a big company like a big pharma. So could you stand up and to share your insight?
Sure, sure. So yes, great to meet you all. My name is Soham. I have some slides prepared as well. So glad to be here. So yes, who am I? So as Alex mentioned, I started 12 years ago in the space of quantum. I was an intern at NIST Quantum. I then got a degree from Berkeley with a focus in quantum computation. Um, and then, I left the space a little bit. I went and worked on sensing algorithms at Apple, but I decided let me get back into quantum because I love it so much. So I became a senior application scientist at QCware. QCware is a large quantum algorithms company. Pretty much most of the Fortune 200 companies that have done anything in quantum has also worked with QCware. We are a contract research, or were a contract research organization. And we were a large brain trust in quantum computing. I left QCware a year and a half ago to join a new company called Quantum Signals, which is which is several of the old QCware executives left that company, but it was operating for uh, 12 years as sort of the largest brain trust in the quantum computing space and quantum algorithms specifically. And so, yeah, we worked with companies like Roche, Goldman Sachs, Itaú, AstraZeneca. And these are all companies that I have actually given presentations at or worked with directly, as well as the US Fed, which was a fun experience, as well as Samsung. And we've also upskilled and given workshops at Apple and companies similar to that. And so there is a large effort in industry where we are trying to find applications for quantum computers, especially in the biopharma space. A lot of people have tried, um, and I'll tell you a little bit of story. Quantum algorithms around 2019 was extremely exciting because Google had just released a lot of I see Adam knows Google just released an incredible announcement that they had reached quantum supremacy, and this was around the same time that a lot of algorithm developers and researchers were thinking about applications of quantum in AI. And we had lots of proposals. In fact, somebody I work with very closely, Professor Jordanis Karanidis, had released an algorithm which had this exponential advantage for a very famous problem called the Netflix problem. Uh, so just a general excitement in the space. And then came along one researcher named Ewan Tang. This was an undergrad researcher at the University of Washington who essentially showed us that most of the quantum algorithms that we actually thought were good were not actually good. So she debunked pretty much half the quantum algorithms in the space. And this was uh, I call it sort of the great algorithm culling, where most of the quantum algorithms that we had proposed for AI and machine learning and things like that were debunked. And so, not debunked, but they were just proven to not actually be as good as thought. And so since 2019, all the way up to now, and it's a continuing process, we are reforming the algorithm space and figuring out what it's actually going to be used for in a much more principled way. And I'll be talking about that a little bit in the following slides. Any questions on that? Okay, great. So the agenda here, I don't have too much time, but I have three POC projects in biopharma that I'll talk to you about, three takeaways, and some future directions that I believe um, the space will end up going towards. So the first project that I want to talk to you about is a project that we did with AstraZeneca. So AstraZeneca has a lot of patient data, right? And not all the patient data is complete. So we have missing elements in this patient data. Sometimes people didn't come in for their follow-up visits. Some people didn't come in for or have missing data in their forms and things like that. And so this is a problem because we want to run predictive health on them. We want to figure out what's wrong with them going to be wrong with them in the future. And what this problem is we need to essentially fill in these missing entries with the best possible results so that we can run future predictive algorithms on them and be able to predict their health, right? So this is a problem called imputation. Imputation is a very popular problem in the field, and there are some really good algorithms for it. This is a very popular algorithm. It's called MICE or MISForest. It's a way of kind of filling in these data, and the way it works is that You select a subset of columns, like just select a subset of your columns, and then build predictors for the other columns based on those columns. So you say, okay, I know that this subset of people all went to, had 10,000 steps in the day, right? And then you try to predict their column for example, uh, their number of workouts in the week, right? Something like that, right? And then you do that 100 times. You select a subset, and you predict the other columns about 100 times, and then you collect them all together in what's called an ensemble. And this is a very popular algorithm. Now, what we said was, okay, how can we use quantum to improve this algorithm? Well, it turns out that the sampling is a big problem. So usually when you subsample data, you often get very, very redundant selections in your feature space. So we're talking like you'll just happen to select, only females, for age 40 to 50, right? And this is not a good idea because that particular predictor is going to be very biased. And so what we ended up uh, trying was using a quantum sampling technique, a sampling technique that is very native to quantum computers, which is called DPP sampling. You don't really need to know what DPP means. It's just a diverse selection, right? So we guarantee that the selection that you get is diverse in your feature space. And this algorithm, we did run this, and we actually tested it on real quantum hardware. And it turns out that when you use this diverse sampling technique that is innate to quantum, you do beat the classical technique. However, we did also uh, we do also show that look, this sampling technique is not that much better than the classical way of doing the same thing. So you really only get a tiny, tiny improvement. And for all those familiar with what's called O notation, this is a way of writing down how fast this algorithm is. And you see that this is d squared, the quantum one is d squared, and the classical is d cubed, okay? So d squared is much faster than d cubed. However, it's not fast enough. It's not enough of an improvement for us to think that a quantum computer is going to be better, because a quantum computer is going to have a huge overhead, right? And this overhead is just totally not beat by this modest one exponential or one polynomial improvement. And so we do not expect quantum advantage from this particular application. And so I got to move on to the next one. The next one is, sorry, the logo is wrong, but the next one is medical image recognition with Roche. This is a project that we did over the course of 3 years and maybe even 4. And we even went on to publish with them and then also join what is called what was a big challenge, a big quantum challenge. So we got this large grant to proceed with this. Um, and the idea is that, okay, from medical images, can you diagnose disease? A pretty simple problem statement. And so, an incumbent algorithm would be vision transformers. I mean, they're the state of the art in image recognition. Um, and in general, it's a pretty slow inference time. So we said, okay, let's see if we can speed this up. I mean, this is trying to find an application of quantum in neural networks, right? In neural networks that are used very frequently. And we propose these quantum neural networks that use a different optimization landscape. And the big tech challenge was to understand um, if these would perform the same. So can you run a neural network on an actual quantum hardware and get the same results? Okay. And then also a big part of this was to explore the potential to use these neural networks in the real world, what the timelines would be and if they would actually give an advantage. Um, and the results were okay. So yes, we actually achieved parity. And so now quantum algorithms, quantum neural networks are around the same performance as classical neural networks for these small tasks. Okay. Do we expect quantum advantage? Maybe, but probably not. It's still not an application that you would say fits what quantum computers are going to be good for, right? Um, there is again a modest polynomial advantage, but we don't think that. And one of the biggest reasons here is scale. A lot of neural networks and machine learning use massive amounts of data, and quantum is not good at massive amounts of data. This is a big misconception that a lot of people have, is that data, the amount of data, if it goes up, it's just not a well-suited problem for quantum. Just to have people understand that a little bit, um, your computer might have a terabyte of storage, right? That is a trillion bytes of storage. Um, what is the largest quantum computer that exists today? 1,000 bytes. I mean, it's minuscule compared to what a regular computer can use. And so quantum is not going to be good for data problems. And this is something that we sort of knew, but we confirmed uh, with this. I'm sorry, again, the title is wrong. Um, Okay, the next problem is protein binding. And I saved this one for last because I think the more and more we as a field have uh, done these POCs, the more and more we settle on molecular problems being the biggest problems for quantum, right? And so with Boehringer Ingelheim, we explore the problem of finding binding energies. So a lot of these pharma companies, they want to propose small molecules as drugs, right? And there's this huge effort to try to do this with computers instead of actually making the chemical. And so what I imagine, and this is the holy grail of quantum computing, uh, so far as we know of. There's a couple of holy grails. Okay, one holy grail is breaking encryption. Okay, but we're not talking about that right now. The holy grail in chemicals is what's known as the computational chemical factory. Okay, the computational chemical factory is a factory. It's an in silico factory that can test thousands, billions of different small molecules, different drugs, and can evaluate them all on in silico, right, on a quantum computer or on a regular computer, and just discard them. And this is totally not how drug development is done. I'm sure a lot of you are from the pharma industry, and so people have been talking about this for a long time. But really, if you want to test like toxicity, you really have to give it to mice right now. And there's some assays, there's some uh, pretty uh, pretty advanced computational methods where you do a little bit of modeling, but it's just not good enough right now. And so if we can actually accurately predict how these proposed drugs will bind to, for example, certain enzymes in the liver or certain or your target protein, for example, then you can speed up this process hugely. Okay, so that's kind of the general statement. And we did this with Boehringer Ingelheim using a technique called FSAPT, which is SAPT is one method of understanding the difference in energy with a bound molecule versus a not bound molecule. And we didn't find that there is promise in quantum computing for this. I don't have figures and a lot of that for this, but I can send the paper afterwards. But we did find that there is a lot of promise in this space. Protein binding there for proteins is very difficult because proteins are also very big, and so the data problem shows up again. But when you really want to do this kind of thing, what we showed in the paper was you can, and this is a very common technique, you can kind of just look at only the binding site of the protein and not anything else, and get a pretty accurate result. So this is absolutely what I think is going to be one of the big futures of quantum, is being able to create this computational chemical factory. I know a lot of companies are doing this. I know this is Microsoft, been Microsoft's main goal for a long, long time. Um, and in particular, what quantum computing will be good at there is generating training data for massive, massive models, and then also being the final sort of step um, of validation for what these models give out. So there's a lot of integration with AI there. Computational chemical factory will not happen without AI, and cannot happen without quantum. So that is the happy marriage that we're all looking for in the field, and we're moving very quickly towards that. Um, and so yeah, that is sort of my insight. I can open up to questions, or we can move on with the presentation.
Yeah, we can have a separate interactive Q&A. So if someone has a question, maybe you can leave your question in chat box, and then someone will give you an answer. Okay, so thank you, Soho. It was fantastic. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Then I will share again. Okay. Okay, so actually, Sohom provide something that is setting the stage. Because what I'm going to talk about, actually, the show, the live demo, is molecular, actually, that interaction. So I will show the briefly, because I'm going to show live demo, so I'm going to show briefly about what is this demo. So first, I'm going to show is to the molecular energy state. So this is a fundamental block in a like a molecular small molecular base drug discovery, computational drug discovery. So the basically the research object is to researchers specify the specific goal, such as determining the ground state energy of a molecule and evaluate molecular stability or something like that relate to fundamental mechanism of small molecule. As I told you that I will actually the little bit show something. Because my initially that when I designed this one, actually, as I told you that I actually I'm not a full time, but I the like a contract base actually that actually I liked this platform they call super platform because of the what I did over the past 6 months. Actually, that I'm trying to do establish what I saw AI native quantum in a hybrid quantum framework. And then I found that actually a company implement this. And so actually I talked with the CEO and then I joined to explore more. And then I found that the shoes kind of the potential to apply in many different type of the biopharma and healthcare area. So this demo actually is based on actual this super platform. So but and also like they have a demo platform actually show very simple way they already have a template for this business case. So someone actually has very interesting in if you are biopharma or other the healthcare or the life science related institution, and then you want to have a strategic partnership with Super Q Quantum, and then I can introduce to the responsible person. And then once you have an NDA and also like some of the initial kind of like discussion to how to collaborate or the how to can utilizing this platform, and then you will see the exactly the real platform. But because I cannot show you because of this company policy that do not show the actual platform and also like a demo platform without any NDA. So, but actually, I'm the very expertise in agentic AI for myself. I'm working on that space for 3 years. I developed my own agentic AI a lot of the platforms in different application before. So I'm very expertise. So I just to put in this, I just think about the best way to show this is to show the simulated. So actually, it does not connect to the actual quantum computing resources, but actually it can all the aspect of the agentic AI orchestration layer. I can do the same thing in design as ChatGPT. And so this is the one actually the nearly realistic but actually not in the behind, not actually connect to the actual research, but it showcase all the aspect of the platform, how they solve this problem through the user interaction and guide. This is the one thing. So I developed this one to showcase how the actual platform can solve this problem. So I recommend this to look at this slide later. And also, I'm now writing a very detailed white paper about explain about this. And also, the best business case in next one is clinical trial optimization. So I will share them also. So you will look at it. And then if you really feel that you are really interesting, this is not all, because as I mentioned that I know about all the capability operation of the platform and test this for myself that what kind of like as kind of before the what is really quantum relevance is a quantum advantage can be seen, but this platform is a hybrid, so they automatically figure out there is an agent that figure out that depending on the problem, they assign the best computing resources. So if the no like a definite quantum like a benefit is available, then this agentic AI actually assigned to the traditional one, high-performance computing and other ones. So this is the beauty of this platform. But anyway, because I'm going to show you only case actually with the quantum advantage. Okay, so actually this is learning, then you will see this kind of like a visual dashboard and then see that right away how the solution looks like in the visualization. And this is another one is a very strong business case is a clinical trial optimization is basically this platform is utilizing optimization engine. So it convert any kind of a problem and quantify and then convert it to the optimization workflow. So it directly related optimization is good. Even if it's not, it convert. So this is another case. So for example, that I learn, trial learn, and then demonstration outcome is candidate. It is kind of like a recruiting. Is one of the key is to recruiting and maintain patient participate in the clinical trial is a very key issue. I know, but there are out there many different type of AI powered solution to that. But if you have a like very complex situation, many different decentralized sites and then many people are involved, many like for example in the future, like we have experience in the COVID-19, if is the global like a crisis happen again in the pandemic, and then in the this is the best way actually that utilizing your trial kind of drug discovery vaccine, and then you need to be test over, right? In the phase one, phase two, phase three. And then this is a very strong, powerful solution in the future. Okay, so this is one actually in the global geographic site distribution. Look at it. So it's decentralized and distributed over the global hemisphere. So it will be a powerful tool if you're utilizing quantum resources. Okay, so I will show you directly about demo. So actually, I designed it and I learned this morning. So to save the time, actually, I go over. This is the one actually I learned real time. So for example, that this is I utilizing the front engineering to design this. So it be able like agentic like AI multiple AI collaborate. So it kind of like for example that it kind of like research team. So it has each AI agent, Lore is like a special kind of the research team specialist. And then it like, for example, user support and quantum chemistry agent. So it like you have a big pharma company, have a drug discovery team, and then there are multiple law, right? Each AI doing the same law, right? So it kind of like interact with human to support, right? And then for example, scientific research intake. So it provide like a ChatGPT like interface. So it has a communication through the like chat. And then for example, that it like what would you like to accomplish today, right? and then it will be interact with you, calculate molecular energy, and then it go next A, and then try to understand, right? And so at the execution layer, so it used to find out what the user's intent, right? And then it's kind of like to understand in the and then AI can convert to the quantify to solve as an optimization process. And then it tried to guide you that what really want you to. So I said like ground state energy I want to evaluate. And then it asks about okay, so next go. And then agentic AI access summary. So research objective is ground state energy determination, and scientific domain is quantum chemistry, and workflow type is hybrid quantum classical molecular simulation, and then user guidance level assist research workflow. So very similar. And then platform provide like a next will select a molecular system to be studied and estimate computational requirement before execution. So molecular system discovery. And then there are this is small molecule base. So H2 is an example we want to solve. And the quantum chemistry agent is to analyze, right? So molecular reference library, something like that. It's just simulate what actually happened, right? And then what it tried to do is the molecular intelligence report, the hydrogen molecule, and molecular, it guide you that the characteristic of this molecule to set up the stage, and then it started simulation. So it working in the research grade activation, and then so selected the molecule S2, molecular complexity low, simulation mode research grade status ready for quantum chemistry configuration. So it go to the quantum chemistry configuration, guide through all actually this quantum based computational drug discovery team in the big pharma actually doing it mimicked that workflow. And then it asks about like the basis set determination, how electron orbitals are represented mathematically. So the molecular microscope. So a better option it provide like STO3Z, and then another option. So it guide you what kind of like quantum chemistry agent recommend. For example, recommend STO3Z and provide reason excellent balance of the speed and accuracy for the actual molecular simulations. Something like that. And they guide you and they select this one method and then quantum chemistry 3 and then explain that is the most widely used benchmark basis set in the quantum computer literacy. And then another like a user support agent provide the ANSAT acts as a blueprint for the constructing molecular wave function. So it's a very specific terminology. And then an available option, it provides, then user can select, and then user select this one, and then it provides the algorithmic recommendation agent looking this space, and then specific information that the UCCSD is considered the gold standard for quantum chemistry, and then configuration summary, and the go to next step is a problem. It defines because the user provides a human understanding problem, and then it converts to the more defined to be handled by AI and the computer resources. And then there is something to process, and then the platform now transform chemistry problem into quantum optimization problem. It's a tool that they convert to the chemistry problem into quantum optimization problem, and molecular Hamiltonian has generate, and the system is now ready to configure optimization on qubit mapping strategy. And then it goes through. So automation configuration, it goes through, and then optimization agent pop up, and then just simulating, and then how you do like a convergence in a like a simulation, and it recommend the highest of precision, and in working through that this within this convergence range, like error rate, and then algorithm recommendation, what kind of algorithm you want to do. and then finally that the quantum advantage, how hardware comparison metrics is already have a partnership with nearly all existing cloud-based and hardware computing resources. So it look at the best match based on the characteristics and function of each quantum computing resources. So Amazon Basket and NVIDIA Xanadu, Photonic, IonQ, or some other is a D-Wave, and we have many. And then it's ask about to select this one, and then select it, and then finally simulate quantum optimization process. So utilizing actual quantum and then the optimization process, and then complete the workflow is kind of like a circuit balance. A quantum, it utilizing quantum circuit to developing the like a ground state to molecular energy state, and then finally done, and then and then error tracking. So it's autonomous error correction, and then finally to refine the problem and the lead rate, and then there is a solution, and then also hybrid conduct critical execution, and then finally you get the answer. Okay, so I only have 2 minutes, so I'll finish up. I will share uh, this recording, so you will look at it later. And then I will share the white paper to detail explain about the platform and how they solve the problem and then some implication. So it give you this one. So if you really want actually to have a partnership with the quantum, and then you can explore this fantastic platform. Anyway. Okay, so another one actually that I'll briefly go over that this is one of the killer best business case can have a definite quantum advantage as I explained. So this is one actually that I also designed it and learned real time. So best way is to within 2 minutes, I will give you the what it's doing, and then you will look at it later. Okay. So actually, in actual learning, you will take a day utilizing many different resources. But anyway, you will see just in a minute about the snapshot. So basically, what it's doing is it's kind of like in the clinical operation that you need a lot of development team required, like and then you can utilize this one as a multi-for AI agent to solve this clinical trial optimization process. And then you know that also like this involves huge money, right? Because a lot of the money in the drug discovery process is they just consuming this clinical trial. So clinical trial optimization is really, really important. And then if you can take advantage of the quantum resources, and this definitely this is a worthwhile space you need to do that. So this is just one example, but I'm very have expertise in clinical trial because I'm currently I'm a straight advisor one agentic AI company developing the orchestration of the clinical trial. So I'm very expertise to end from research and then clinical trial and post clinical trial. I know about all the process, so I can do whole the end-to-end process, kind of like a clinical trial optimization is much like a strong advantage in quantum and advantage. You can feel it. But anyway, because I have skill over because Gabor is waiting for me to end. Okay, so I will stop here. Okay, Adam, yeah, your turn. Sorry about 1 minute pass.
No problem. I was gesturing to you to, take your time. No need to, because you had a lot to say. I could
Yeah,
see.
yeah, because I will share the very detailed white paper, and then I really want to it's not show, right? I really want to collaborate with the people in biopharma. You see that it's strong, right? Is I can ready to so I'm the only the person subject matter expert with the technical expertise in this form. So I'm in responsible all the like collaboration that I can in between that communicate with actual researchers and the innovator in the big pharma or the biotechnology, whatever. That if they want to utilizing this quantum advantage to solve their complex problem, I'm ready, and then I back up, and then I can show actual platform under NDA. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you can share your insight and your demo, right? I'm really expecting that it's really fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I hope I don't disappoint ultimately. First, I'd like to thank Soham. He really did set the stage excellently. I think I have a new best friend. You know, Soham, you're talking my language exactly.
Correct.
Adam Gabriel, I am the founder of MedSynth. We are patent pending. The patent application is in my name. So, what is MedSynth? One of the points that Soham talked about in his presentation was protein molecules are really big, complex 3D structures. They fold in 3D space. Now, almost every solution that is currently available, whether you're talking, Schrodinger, etc., the most expensive, the most sophisticated ones, they display that structure on your 2D screen. So when all is said and done, it still is a 2D approximation of an intrinsically complex 3D structure. So that is the first point that we tackled at MedSynth. Our primary interface is the Apple Vision Pro. So instead of interacting with, on one hand, the viral or bacterial protein, and on the other hand, the candid therapeutic molecule in 2D, we interact with them in their native state in 3D via virtual reality, where you're shielded totally from the environment, or augmented reality, where it's floating in the air in front of you and you can see the rest of your environment. That in and of itself expedites the process of uh, uh, the lock and key, where the therapeutic molecule has to fit precisely in the protein binding pocket in order for binding to happen and for the drug to deactivate the bacterial or viral protein. So this lock and key relationship is much easier to determine when you're working in native 3D space than when you're working on a 2D approximation on a computer screen. Once we have that, then, like Alex said, we throw it over to our agentic workflow manager, which has and by the way, I do have a demo video to show at the end of this. So if things are not quite clear, just hold tight a little and they should be clearer when we watch the demo video. So the agentic workflow manager invokes a multi-objective scoring function that predicts, like Soham said, toxicity. It predicts synthesizability. It predicts efficacy and combines them and generates a score for the molecule. And then it also generates a molecule that is similar and throws it back at the drug researcher, so the human in the loop can do what humans are best at, which is work with 3D geometry. So the human does that. If he finds a good lock and key fit, it's thrown back to the agent, and the agent computes the score for it, and so on and so forth. A very interesting point in our system is that as you're working, the agent is also learning from your actions. So after a certain amount of interactions, it evolves from being an assistant to doing this whole loop, taking the human out of the loop, at least for the smaller, simpler drugs. Now, this leaves the quantum piece. Again, like both Soham and Alex said, quantum, one of the holy grails, like Soham said, one of the holy grails is quantum molecular simulation, where you're trying to simulate how the candidate molecule will actually bind with the protein at a quantum molecular level. For this, we found that the best fit for us is Google Willow, because number one, the more qubits you have in your circuit, the lower the error the circuit, the lower the error that happens in the circuit, which is the reverse of what happens in any other quantum system. The more qubits, the more errors you have to correct. So that's one unique advantage that Google Willow gives us. The second is their quantum echoes algorithm, without going into too much detail. That is a very high-speed algorithm that can map out the chemistry, the molecular structure of a compound. They have shown it to be 30 up to 13, up to, because in quantum things can vary enormously from a very specific use case to other generalized cases. So they've shown that it can provide up to a 13,000 acceleration factor over classical computing, using GPUs and AI. So we are waiting on Google to grant us access. They still have not opened access to Willow for us to perform that final part of our structure. So the first part is working in VR on the Apple Vision Pro. The second part is agentic looping at very high speed to test hundreds of thousands of molecules in a fraction of the time it would take, electronically, of course, in silico, just like Soham said, in a fraction of the time that it would take traditional methods. And then the third part is the quantum part. I think at this stage, I will share our demo video, and I will narrate over it and maybe pause it if something needs, a little more elaboration. So let's see. I don't know. Can everyone see my screen? It should be okay. A guy reaching out to a panel suspended in space. So if you look at the very bottom, it says headset agnostic client. Our primary interface is the Vision Pro because it's just so far ahead of anything else on the market. A quick comparison. Because each of the displays, the OLED displays in the Vision Pro, is higher than 4K resolution, it gives you 23 million pixels to work with. If you compare that with the Oculus from Meta, that's just 8 million pixels. So, the difference is vast. It has 4 times the resolution. The other thing is that for the Meta Oculus, to interact with whatever it is in front of you, you use controllers, those little paddle-like things. The Vision Pro doesn't do that. It tracks your hand movements, your finger movements, and your pupils. You select something by looking at it. Despite this, because our ultimate goal is to be, the Microsoft of drug discovery, we want a MedSynth license at every one of the 15,000 drug discovery labs worldwide. So yes, the Vision Pro is our primary interface, but we're also developing the headset agnostic client, which will work with whatever headset that lab has or wants. We recommend the Vision Pro, but if, like what you see on screen, he's using a Ray-Ban smart glass, it'll also work there. I'm trying to get it away. So you can see the molecule really space. Then please write in the This part shows the interaction, although it's a little bit in reverse. The pushing the big protein binding pocket, and then with your hand, you move the cannabis with the pocket, changing its pose, its space to see if you can arrive at that lock and key fit. Then this is a more complicated display. Once you have functions, the sphere, score, toxicities, and disability, etc. And then that produces a sequence, ranked list of the candidates. So you can see minus score 83 of 100, 83%. And then following the system is designed the reality to cater to
You have an idea?
sorry, let me pause this.
No.
Cater to now I can stop screen sharing. All right. To cater to drug research teams, which are typically, like Alex said, more than one individual. So each one of them will be wearing their headset. Again, preferably a Vision Pro. It could be their head-mounted display of choice, and they can all work together on the same bacterial target and analyze the candidate therapeutic molecule. Now, what I was actually going to do is I have the ability to mirror whatever I see when I put in the Apple Vision Pro to my laptop screen. But for those that are developed for the Apple ecosystem, anything in the ecosystem like Macs or iPhone, iOS, or Watch, we are smack in the middle of the Worldwide Developer Conference. It's happening right now in Apple campus in San Francisco, and Apple has released their latest operating system, revamped from the ground up. It's 27, and they, standardize the numbering across all of the ecosystem. So you have Watch OS 27, Mac OS 27, Vision OS 27, all in beta. And the capabilities have been ramped up significantly. So we just updated everything we have to 27 beta. Unfortunately, like a lot of beta systems, that breaks some things along the way. So today, as I was testing with my right-hand man, the screen, what I could see in the Vision Pro mirrored perfectly to my laptop screen as long as it wasn't 3D geometry. So, I could move around and he could see what I was looking at. I could play videos, he could see them, but a molecule, the screen went dark. So, um, promise though, when is the next biotech webinar you have, Alex?
Oh, I have a series of the webinar, but for the biopharma topic, I'm not sure because I have a series of the webinar about the different topic quantum can apply. So I'm full of the webinar until until the end of July now. But I'm not sure. But actually, the your topic is very interesting to me,
Well,
particularly.
thank you.
The reason is that that I'm very expert is the quantum is I have PhD degree in physics, so quantum is a very
I know that
familiar
off your
to me.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, but actually, I'm more for the professionally. I'm very expertise in AI, and then what you talk about actually the in if you talk about your topic in AI community, they will understand under the term is a space computing, spatial.
Yeah, spatial computing. Yes, I didn't want to get,
That's
that's the term
I worked.
Apple uses.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one in the before they call metaverse. You know that, right?
That's the
The
term
like
Facebook
Mark
uses.
Zuckerberg changed his company because of the he wanna be consumer level metaverse all of the world fair, right? And after that, the specialists don't want to use metaverse, and then they change the name is spatial computing, right? And then they are now moving to agentic AI spatial computing, right? That's one actually that I have some draft article about share several years ago. So, but I think I never seen like you very detailed and apply to biopharma. So I think that you are the first person that most like the kind of like worthwhile to explore the concept and then nobody actually done in I never seen even in the healthcare nobody done. Actually, I load up the article about how to apply in the healthcare, but I never seen I saw a few actually the utilizing this like Apple Glass and other glass to integrate with the healthcare, but not directly in the biopharma. As far as I know that in I'm in Boston and there is a Mass General Hospital there. I know about the professor. He is in charge of he is in charge of radiology department. So he naturally with all the like a detailed image or whatever, and he developed like a 3D kind of like they call it XR, the extended reality lab.
The reality,
Actually, they're
yeah,
very
that's
similar.
the term Samsung
Yeah,
uses.
yeah. So they utilizing like a patient care things that, but I never seen like you directly apply to in a biopharma space. So I'm very interested in you. I want to collaborate with you. Like
Good.
yeah. Based on my background, actually, that we can yeah, discuss further. I have very good ideas how to extend the years. Right.
Well, thanks. So what I wanted to say is, uh, at your next biotech webinar, I promise everyone in attendance over here that I will actually do what I was going to do today, which is put on the Vision Pro and mirror what I see to my laptop screen, which is already shared with you. So you'll be looking through my eyes and seeing how everything works. If this happens, let's say in 3 weeks, Alex, by then, the kinks in Apple's 27 beta system would have been ironed out. So we'll actually be able to see the molecules, in 3D space and manipulate them.
Okay.
So, whenever you do it, just tell me and we will, plan the fine details.
Yeah, we have a 3 minute more to go. So is there anyone to share your comment or any question? otherwise, actually, the Soam and Adam, could you share your final 1 minute insight?
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I want to say, let's see how many things. Very, very quickly. First, I'm gonna drop in my LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
and my email.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to reach out on both. Now let's see. Where are we? It says here. Oh, okay. To everyone. There we go. So this is my LinkedIn, and this is my email. And Sohum and anyone else, everyone else interested in a pilot license. I know that you might not be interested in it specifically for yourself, Sohum, but I'm talking about the companies that you've worked with, companies like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, etc. They are our ideal client. So anyone interested, please do get in touch. And back to the point I discussed with you briefly, Alex, at the beginning, we're currently fundraising. So if anyone loves the project, and again, it's patent pending, so you're not betting on thin air. Anyone that wants, to participate in our fundraising effort, also please do reach out.
Okay, thank you, Adam. So, yeah, final comment?
From me, or, I mean,
No,
if
so,
anyone.
yeah.
From me, no, I don't have any final comments. I gave all my comments. So
Okay, thank you.
happy
Okay,
to, happy to take questions. Please reach out on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So,
put it in.
a
I
final one.
will.
Yeah, final 1 minute. Actually, this is the one you didn't notice. Actually, the it is organized under the name AI Native Quantum, yeah, Academy. So actually, this is motivated me that because recently is a quantum rise up, a lot of interest, and then I found that still there is a gap between the like what is the reality and what actually can apply. So in the real life thing, so I motivate this webinar series is something they like to invite us home and other like, right? Actually implementing, right? Actually applying in the real life, right? And then this academy is kind of agile consulting. So I want to have like some thought leadership and then industry professionals gathered together and then deliver. And then as Sodom is very interesting in the educational service, so we want to educate community to how we go through this early stage and then make quantum as a mainstream, right? So education training is very important. And then Soul is kind of like to deliver what is the correct like way to understand the quantum, and I have the same mind. So it is a starting point. So if you are the professional and interested in the join in academy, and then you can join as like a speaker like today, and then we can share the idea then how we can make this like more structures. Okay. Okay. So thank you for everyone attending and stay 10 more minutes. And then I hope to see you in the next webinar. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.